In this section, we're going to hear your answers to our question online when we asked, how far would you travel to see your favourite band? Some people follow bands on tour, some people travel the country, and some people go to other continents. They travel the world to see their favourite bands. But how far is too far? This has come up because obviously I'm going to see Royal Blood in numerous destinations around the UK, and some people would not go to those lengths. Some people would not go to Birmingham, London, Manchester to see their favourite band on tour. Some people would just go to their nearest sort of city or town, their nearest pub maybe, to see their favourite band. But I love to travel. I love going to different cities, different venues that I've never been before. And, I just find it really exciting because I've got my favourite music and I'm combining travel with it as well. But some people are just the opposite of that, aren't they? So that's the question, really. How far is too far? Do you travel, Lee? Are you a traveller when it comes to bands?
Unfortunately not, no. I've always gone for the easier option in going into London. But both major towns that I've lived in have got a direct line into London, so it's always seemed like the easier option.
Yeah.
And even when I lived in Cornwall for a bit, I saw My Chemical Romance in Plymouth, which again, it's not far away from where I was living. So no, I'm not a massive traveller when it comes to bands, which is a shame.
Is Download the furthest?
Yes, it is. Download is the furthest I've travelled to go and see some bands. I mean, I did travel to Nottingham to do a open forum thing for Download, and I ended up meeting Andy Copping and a few of the other organisers of Download.
You name dropper.
I know. I mean, does that count? I suppose. I met a few lovely people actually that run the forums on the official Download forums as well. Met some of the nicer ones that comment on that forum.
Yeah, it's about bands though, really. I mean, if you let's say Korn were playing up in Newcastle, and they were doing 2 dates. One was in Edinburgh and one was in Newcastle. Would you bother your arse to get on the train?
To be completely honest, if they were only doing those 2 dates in the UK, that would mean that they're definitely doing a festival date in the UK.
And so you'd wait for something closer.
I would. I mean, am I a bad fan? I mean, there's lots of reasons as to why someone wouldn't travel.
Oh, yeah.
There's loads of reasons why someone would travel for it, and I take my hat off because I love the dedication. Unfortunately for me, if it's in London or it's near me, it's much more convenient and much easier and probably nicer on my wallet to go and do that.
Oh, absolutely. There's tons of considerations. Can you afford it? Have you got the time? Do you speak the language? All this other stuff that some people are. You just can't do it. Obviously it's not for everybody, but we do have some people who've commented on our posts who can do it. Now there's quite a range here. The question was, how far is too far? Adam Lancaster says space. Yeah, okay.
I saw that. That fucking made me chuckle because I just thought, of course, there's always a silly one in the comment section. And yeah, that made me chuckle, to be fair. So yeah, fair play to you for your comment. And if you did go to space, why don't we know about it? Why have you only just told people what's going on?
That does say that space is too far, so that the rest of the planet is not. So he'll travel anywhere on the planet to see his favourite band, which is admirable. Admirable.
I've got a Coots Britannia. Went to Norway to see Ghost.
Oh, wow.
I love Norway.
You've been there, haven't you?
I've been to Tromsø, and it is it was amazing.
You didn't see any bands there, though, did you?
No, we did go to a what we thought was a metal bar, which it was, and we had decided, I think it was on our first or second evening, we knew that the band knew a band that was playing, and we thought, right, let's go back to the room, have a nap, go back again at about 10 o'clock when the band comes on, and then we'll be raging for the band. No, we fell asleep and didn't wake up again until the next morning.
Oh, God.
But we were supposed to see. They were like almost like a mariachi metal band.
I can't really imagine that, but okay.
Well, imagine. Obviously, you know what I mean when I say mariachi. Like, obviously, the Mexican music. Just whack some metal in there. Okay. It sounded really fun, and we were really keen to see it, but we kind of fell asleep and then didn't wake up again the next day. Obviously, maybe a bit jet lagged, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a beautiful city, and yeah, that's probably if there were bands playing on a visit to that country. Yeah, I'd probably go see them.
Graham Thompson says, I've been to Germany and Paris to see Ozzy, Amsterdam and Antwerp to see BLS. Mind you, local gig is Glasgow, and that's a 5-hour round trip. So that's the traveler.
Local.
Well, yeah, a local gig is Glasgow, and that's a 5-hour round trip.
Damn, wow. Like, obviously Glasgow's quite big. 5-hour round trip to the local gig.
Yeah, well, maybe he lives in the Highlands, or you know. Or...
I'd love to live in the Highlands. So remote, away from everyone and everything.
Would you not get bored by that?
No, I've got my wife and my dog. I'll be fine.
Okay.
Right, who else we got here? Adam Reynolds. He's travelled from the UK to Broadway in New York to see Bruce Springsteen.
Oh,
that's a good little. That's definitely something to tell the grandkids.
It's a nice trip.
I know. Obviously, New York and going to Broadway in New York as well, especially to go and see Bruce Springsteen. No, I tip my hat to that. So that's a good one.
Benny Brown says he's travelled to the US, Sweden, Denmark, France, the Netherlands, Belgium, and many other places for bands. It's so much fun, he says. I mean, I suppose you've got to have that travelling mindset, haven't you? If you, I mean, I would love to travel, but I can't afford to. I'd love to go to different countries and see bands. In fact, when I used to work at the Arena in Manchester, I was always astonished at how far people would travel to come and see a band that I thought were a bit crap or whatever. But you know, people would come for miles. Like there's obviously no limit for some people.
Hey, that's fair enough. Like you said, yeah, I mean, money definitely plays a massive part in whether you can or cannot do these things. And yeah, I mean, if you can include a band to see on your travels, then that's awesome. I think the only thing that I can consider the same sort of thing that I did, I went to Helsinki a few years ago, and on Boxing Day of our trip is usually a football day for me. So I was a bit like, oh, I want to go to the football. And we bought tickets to go see the ice hockey. And this wasn't just a little rinky-dink local club ice hockey. This was in Helsinki, it was a big club ice hockey game.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was fantastic. It was a really, really good experience. So, yeah, I mean, if you can include something like that in a sort of fashion of a gig on a holiday, that's awesome.
Oh, definitely. You'll remember that for the rest of your life, won't you?
Yeah.
Michelle Chance is coming to download, actually, from Independence, MO, in America. Where's MO?
Oh, Christ. Now you got to make me think of my states. MO. Missouri?
Oh, it could be Missouri, couldn't it? Yes. Independence, Missouri. Is that a state? I see my American... I know we've got Americans listening. I apologise for my terrible geography knowledge of America, North America in particular. I'm not very good. But anyway, she's coming from Independence, which sounds like a very small place because I've never heard of it before. And it's her first time at download, and she's going to be booking a hotel because she doesn't want to leave luggage in her tent, which I think actually is a very wise idea.
And obviously with the guide that we've given, yeah, it's not a bad way to go.
She's hoping to be a redneck novelty and invited into people's tents. Wow. Well, it sounds like she's planning quite a week.
Yes, that's that again. That sounds like that after been a long journey to come to download. I'd love to know. I mean, it doesn't say in her comments who she's looking forward to seeing the most. But it would be nice, obviously, if we can spot this person, have a chat, and just find out exactly what drew her to download, especially from that side of the Atlantic.
It's a long way, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of commitment.
Oh yeah, big time. David Ingham, he says the son and I are travelling from Geelong, Australia, to download. So is that a further journey, isn't it? That's 13 hours.
Yeah, that's a longer journey. That is.
Christ.
Wow. And Geelong sounds like I mean, I've never heard of Geelong either. That sounds like a remote sort of place.
Yeah. They say that his first was 2014, and then again in 2019. He's coming back again for 2022.
So is the download regular?
Wow. By the sounds of it, yeah. That's amazing, though. To come from Australia like 3 times for download. Obviously, a download festival does mean a lot to a lot of people, and obviously from Australia, who have their own download festival in Melbourne and Sydney. In Melbourne and Sydney, to come to the UK for one, that's amazing.
Yeah, and he's taking his son with him. Imagine going on a holiday with your dad to Download Festival on the other side of the world. I mean, wow, that's a great dad, isn't it?
Oh, I know. That's like perfect dad.
Yeah, and you've got to appreciate as well, coming from Australia, that it takes a while to adjust to the time differences, because whilst it's breakfast time here, it's night time there.
Mm-hmm.
And
so I mean, it's 8:30 this evening. It was going to be what is the time difference? Is it
morning now, won't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So is it 8:30 in the morning, or is it like, I don't know? Christ. Well, I'm not sure on the time difference.
So he's obviously got to allow a bit of time to get you, because for us in the UK, download is a week. We sort of drive there and drive back again, no problem. But if you're coming, absolutely knackered from such a long flight with all your gear, you've got to adjust. So he's taking a couple of days prior and a couple of days after to take in the local area, that's going to be lovely in the greens of Derbyshire. To relax. I guess it must be such a different environment to Australia. So good on him for doing that. That's a great holiday. And Angela Tartar says that she's travelling 5,000 miles to London, but we don't know who she's going to see. She hasn't replied there, but 5,000 miles that's more than a coach trip.
Just a touch.
Just a tiny bit. So that's really enlightening. I mean, people travel further than you think, don't they? I mean, it's amazing.
I kind of feel bad now saying I don't travel at all. Like, I go to London from Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire, and some people are travelling fucking from Australia.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get much further away than that, can you?
I bet no, you couldn't. That's literally the end of the earth.
It is. So if you like what you've heard, please give us a review wherever you found us, and look for us on the socials by searching for FestPod. We would love to catch up with you there. But until next time, that's it, and we'll see you again. Bye. A Wilco Productions podcast. This is, hey!